the initiative County Council is now undertaking to reduce litter in Anderson County. How did that come about? And just tell me what they're hoping to do.
Council receives many complaints about litter. Anderson County is one of the largest counties geographically in the state. We have, in essence, litter police who patrol every day. We have prisoners who pick up trash 5 days a week. We have an education program in the schools. We have a very good recycling program, but we continue to have a litter problem. And no matter how much we clean up, pick up, and move up, there is still litter. And so council wants to refocus efforts on that and see if there's other ways that we can do. What are other people doing that we can't do? We focus a lot of time on working on schools and adopt-a roads. We have over 81 roads that are adopted.
That's adopt-a-spot thing.
Adopt-a-spot. We've got about 81 adopted now. But I think you're just going to have to change the culture at a young age that you don't throw stuff out the window. You just don't do it. God doesn't want you to litter. Your neighbors don't want you to litter. You know, it just trashes everything, and that's the impression people have. You know, this is a trashy place because look at all this litter. You find a lot of fast food litter. You find that. I mean, you almost know where a lot of the hot spots are. You don't have as much as you used to in the past where people just dump their trash on the side of the road. So we have improved from that.
Alcohol bottles.
Beer cans, alcohol bottles, and all of that thrown away. Recycle, recycle, and recycle. It saves space in our landfill. Everything that we recycle, we sell. That reduces the amount of money that you pay for your solid waste fee. Help yourself and do that. And make Anderson beautiful. It already is beautiful. We don't need to decorate it with cans, paper, trash, litter, and cigarette butts. We have one big annual cleanup day. Councilman Davis has got one planned for his area coming up pretty quick. And we also have a novel one coming up in association with the Bassmaster event. It's where we're going to weigh you in, but what we're going to weigh is how much trash you pick up.
College and high school teams competing for scholarships.
Competing for scholarships, real prize money. So it's not how big a fish you catch, it's how much litter you bring to that event. And that's attracting a lot of attention. We have been requested by the Corps of Engineers to film that because they would like to use that as a model for other places. So until you change the culture that it's not all right to throw things out of the car or throw things on the side of the road, I think you're always going to be playing catch up, and I think that's where we are.
And we're stuck with the state fee. We can't raise the fine.
No, we can't raise fines any more than that, or we would. We'd make $10,000. I mean, you just can't do it. It is against the law for us to do that.
And I know there was some talk about trying to work with the state to get bench warrants because you can't do bench warrants for litter bugs right now.
Right now, you can't do bench warrants on hardly anything.
Right.
So, you know, if they decide not to show up, then you have to wait for them to get a traffic ticket or something like that before you can haul them in.
Well, there are currently 3 litter officers in Anderson County. Any chance of an additional one in the upcoming budget, maybe? Or?
There's always the chance of an additional.
The county's growing.
The county's growing. The number of people throwing trash out is growing. But again, sometimes I don't know whether another litter officer is the solution or is it more education in the schools. We have some schools that are fabulous in recycling and litter education, and we have one person dedicated to that, to teach these people how to do that. But sometimes it's hard to break what they might be learning at home or what they've adopted on their own.
Where is the council on the budget process for the year ahead? Here we are in February, heading into March.
Well, we're still waiting for a lot of information to come in at this time of the year. Every other county is waiting for a lot of other information to come in. So when we get some other numbers that are coming in, then we'll start. We know large chunks of it now. Council's not going to raise taxes. You can just count on that. They're not going to raise taxes this year. And so we're just putting all those numbers together. So that's where we are right now. I'd say the baby steps phase.
Are there any particular challenges that are going to be new this year, or is it just the same challenges, roads, infrastructure?
I think the challenge next year is going to be the jail. That won't be for this year, but we're looking at ways to do that jail because I think council really would like to put that behind them and take that burden, take that lick from future generations because it's something that's going to happen.
2023 you're talking about?
Hopefully sometime like that and do some preliminary work because at some point in time we're going to have to do it. You have a rising population, you're going to have a rising jail population. And we've put in a lot of efforts with the criminal justice coordinating committee that the council formulated to see if we can speed people through the system, get justice rendered quickly and swift, trying to do those things like that, but we still are going to be behind. But we're also looking at other initiatives in mental health. We're looking, council has us looking at a possibility of working with different entities on a crisis intervention center where somebody doesn't need to go to jail, but jail's the only place who will take them. But what they really need is some mental health counseling, somebody to talk to, maybe somebody to help them get straightened out. So that's one of the things that we're working on now with different groups.
That would be novel because that's not around hardly anywhere. Right now, people with mental health either go to the hospital or the jail.
Well, they either go to the hospital or they go to both. And you wouldn't, the number of people in jail who have mental health issues, and you know as well as I do, a lot of mental health issues go along with substance abuse. And so we need something that hopefully can break that chain. And as we've talked earlier, we're going to be receiving substantial money from the opioid settlement case, 7.5, and that's just from Johnson & Johnson. We expect to get more, and we're still reading through the material on what it can be used for. But that's for drug education, drug treatment, drug diversion. Council also has us working with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee about establishing a mental health court, which we do not have, and a veterans court, which we do not have. So
and those would work like the drug court?
They would work like the drug court. So we're in the process of doing that. As a matter of fact, we are working on a grant right now to institute those two things. We have a lot of veterans groups who are very interested in the veterans court, and we have a lot of mental health groups who are very interested, and the council's interested in all of that because, I mean, that's where your problem is, right there. And if you can do something to divert them, I'm not saying soft on crime or anything like that, but some people just need some help.
Pandemic relief money coming in, how is that going to help the budget? Or is it going to have to be used for very specific things that won't be budget?
Well, it's for specific things. We were able to use a portion of it from revenues we lost in previous years, but this year we're using that for projects. We've used it to help AIM. We've used it to help Free Clinic. We've used it to help several different groups. We're also putting infrastructure in the ground to provide for future generations, things that will generate income. So that's where that money's going, and we're also reserving a portion of it to help with broadband expansion throughout the county. As you know, we announced our partnership with Upcountry Fiber. We're going to be working with them, seeking grant funds and other monies to put in there to get our county covered with broadband. So that's something we desperately need, and council's been pushing that very, very hard. We have a unique partnership. Nobody else in South Carolina has done it, and we already are getting some results. They're already putting some lines in the ground, and we don't want them to stop. We just want them to continue moving on doing that.
And the county's trying to get people to call in and email and tell their stories of either not being able to get it or having such poor coverage that they need help.
Mark Williamson, our IT guy, he came up with this idea because we get calls all the time and council gets calls all the time. I see the poll and I call up and they tell me it's $40 million. So we have given them a place to document this and to vent and to let off steam. And we're using every one of those comments, and I think today we had 61 so far, but we're sending those to the powers that be. This is not your county government telling you this. These are citizens that are telling you, I need this, I don't have it. We've got cases where people built houses and they said, yep, you got it. And then they say, yeah, you got it, give me $3,000. You can go read that, that's case in point. So we're trying to spread the message. We're also trying to document concretely where this doesn't exist. So we're really excited about that.
And we've got elected officials, county councilmen, state senators who are experiencing the same problem.
We got state senators and county council people who don't have that. Absolutely true.
And we're less than 3 weeks away from the International Bassmaster Classic at Green Pond. This is like the ties Green Pond for the most classics of anybody.
Yes.
And a lot of improvements have been made since the last visit. Remind people some of the things they didn't see last time that they'll see this time at Green Pond.
The new dock, the new amphitheater, and several other things we've tweaked. I think there'll be if you haven't been out there, I think you will be surprised. Again, we have the litter event coming up this weekend. We know the new general for the Corps of Engineers is excited to see what's going on at Green Pond. We have a lot of people who are already here because of Green Pond, and I think it's going to be our best one yet. I'm sure it's going to be our best one yet, and there are all kinds of ways that it's going to be televised nationally and internationally. People can watch it, and a whole lot of other events are going to be going. We're going to have the fishing rodeo out at the pond at Chris Taylor Park. Hope everybody brings their kids out there because they're going to receive some really nice prizes. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to have some how-to events, and it's just going to be a wonderful event. You can just come out there and watch it for free. It doesn't cost anything to watch it, and we're hoping the weather's better than the time it was 4 degrees. I'm personally hoping it will be better than the time it was 4 degrees. So we think it's going to be a great event. We're also getting ready for the World Series coming here, and we're getting ready for the state tournaments that are coming here, and we have so many more events that are coming that it's hard to keep track of right now.
The economic impact is pretty significant too every year, I think.
Yes, and have to thank our partners with the City of Anderson and the Chamber of Commerce. They're jumping in to help us promote and to make everybody aware that they're in town. These people that are coming here to watch this and to fish and to stay, and the sponsor groups and everything else, they're going to be in our area spending money and having a good time. We want to recognize that they're here. We want to make them feel welcome, and we want them to come back even when we don't have a fishing tournament or we have another fishing tournament. So it's good. It raises our profile.
And Visit Anderson's Neil Paul was just added to the Bassmaster Hall of Fame board. It
Yes.
sounds like that's an indication of what they think about being right. Remind people what Visit Anderson is, because you mentioned some of these events.
Visit Anderson's partnership between Anderson County and the City of Anderson, and their sole job is to promote Anderson County in tourism and to bring people, to bring outside dollars to Anderson County. And people come spend their money and then they go home. And we want all of those dollars. And the big money for us has been in fishing. The biggest money in sports marketing always is youth sports. That's where the money is. People are sick of me saying that, but when you bring the whole family, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. When we have that World Series out there, and they're here for 3 or 4 days, and where that's located, it's going to mean big business for people in our county. We are developing our own cricket pitch. We have some wonderful people in our community who are big cricket players. We're putting them a place on the balloon launch field, and pretty soon you'll be able to ride out there on a Sunday and watch cricket. I think that will be awesome.
And to bring your own tea, I guess.
You'll have to bring your own tea and cucumber sandwiches or whatever else you bring, but I think that's going to be pretty awesome.
And that's coming pretty soon, right?
It's coming really soon. I was out there last Saturday, and they were just practicing on the bare ground, and there must have been 200 people there, and everybody was having a wonderful time.
Is it going to be open to people who are interested, or is it going to be, you don't know yet?
All I know is they said, can we call it the Anderson County Cricket Club? And I said, that would be the best thing in the whole world.
The weekend of Bassmasters is something people forget, and it's also a National Kayak Bass Fishing event in Anderson County. It's on our, people forget we have a shore on Lake Secession.
Yes, we have a big shoreline on Lake Secession, and that's a big event, and kayak fishing is growing by leaps and bounds.
It's more affordable, people can get into it.
It's more affordable, but one of the things I like about it, you can get into places where you can't get in a big boat, which I really like. You're really close to everything, and you can get out there in your kayak and a Zebco rod and reel, okay? But some of those kayak fishing boats cost $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, and they will do everything. I really think that they can fly some of them.
Still cheaper than a bass boat, though.
Still cheaper than a bass boat, but it's also fun. You're right there.
And I've seen you in a kayak, so are you going to be kayak fishing at any point?
I probably will, but mine will probably be one I borrowed, and I'll have my Zebco.
Talking about water, today the county announced a grant to help Saluda River Blue Trail.
Very excited about that. Councilman Jimmy Davis led that charge for us to buy 30 acres right there in Piedmont, downtown Piedmont, right on the backside of the dam, on the river. And it's about 30 acres. We're applying for a grant from the National Park Service, which they have a grant to develop that. That is going to be, we were using it before when it was private, is the takeout for Piedmont. And as you know, our trail goes 50 miles an hour, but we want to make that the crown jewel right there with camping and picnic facilities and naturally a kayak launch and some other things like that, because it is absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and we're hoping we can get this grant to jumpstart that and jumpstart all the growth that's going to occur in Piedmont on the Greenville side and on the Anderson side. So really excited about that. And as you know, this comment period, so if anybody has a comment, we would love to hear it. And people don't realize, but within 50 miles of that place, there are almost 2 million people. I think off the top of my head it's 1.9 million people. And not every one of those people kayak, but a whole lot of them do, and more are joining that sport every day because it's cheap, inexpensive, and it's fun.
And we've got the Saluda River Rally coming.
Yep.
That event continues to grow as well.
That grows every year, and won't it be wonderful when one of the stops would be right there at that park? That would really set it off.
And you mentioned the Civic Center and all the stuff going on out there. It seems like there's a lot of traffic out there all the time now.
There's somebody using it every day. I mean, constantly we're having events. One of the things I'm very excited about is we've got a regional robotics competition. I don't know if anybody...
13 states or something?
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody knows about that, robotics. One of my daughters was big in that, and that is fun to watch, but the things they make and create and the competitions they have. Now, I love to cheer when my girls played sports, big time. I cheered just as hard when they were doing robotics competitions because they make things and they have to go do things. And if you wonder where all the scientists are and the computer engineers and everybody, you go out there on that day and you will be amazed at what can happen.
As growth in the county continues, you talk about people moving here because of events and different things. County Council's been working with the Planning Commission to help manage growth.
Yes.
What are some of the ways they hope to avoid sort of haphazard, dense housing developments?
Well, you know, the areas of the county that are zoned, that kind of takes care of itself, but we have a lot of areas in the county that aren't zoned. They have to go before the Planning Commission, but it's for land use. So the Planning Commission, I mean, they get it, okay? That is probably one of the hardest boards to serve on because you're making hard, big decisions and you're trying to weigh all the things. But council already had a lot of tools in place. So when somebody said, well, you're just playing catch up. No, we had a lot of things already in place. But now they're having to tweak new things, and every county around here is having to tweak things because nobody has ever dealt with growth like this. We had a council meeting last night. 2 different things were discussed on that, about more regulation on townhomes. We're also looking at the road standards, a whole lot of different little tools, things that need tweaking. Conservation subdivisions, which we passed it,
right.
And that's becoming more popular, leaving more green space. And we're also trying to provide infrastructure in other parts of the county to let everybody share in the prosperity, not just one section of the county. So, I mean, we had a meeting on that today, and council's pushing that real hard. Councilman Ray Graham's champion of that effort in that area.
What's the latest on Equinox mill development? Any timetable when it might be clean?
The only thing that's holding us up right now is in Columbia, they're having some dispute on tax credits. We had one project to get in that's just in the Homeland Park area. There's going to be beautiful, new, affordable housing, and Equinox is right there. We're hoping for the state to figure out what they're going to do and let us move forward on that because we're ready to go today.
How about any other mill reclamation projects on the horizon?
We're looking at every mill. We're bringing developers in to look at mills. We're putting people together, people who have experience doing this in other places, people who've done big projects elsewhere. We're putting it up. We've got a request for proposal right now on the old Toxaway site that the county cleaned up, and we're going to see if there are any developers interested in that. Naturally, before we did that, we would have community meetings to see if it fit what people wanted. But I think that, I mean, we're throwing it out there. We're calling people and say, look, you did this beautiful thing in Virginia. You want to come down here and take a look at us? And I'm not just talking about mills around here. I mean, you know, Chicola Mill's in my mind every day about what can we do down there to get something going down there. And we have a developer looking at it. I'm not saying that he's jumping on it right now, but there's interest. So we're doing that. We spend a lot of time doing that.
A lot of potential on those sites.
There's a lot of potential with textile mill tax credits, abandoned building credits, and if they happen to be in an economic opportunity zone, then there are even more credits on that. And people say, well, that's just a giveaway. Well, you're not going to go take one of those mills that's polluted and you're going to have to remove all that rubble without some kind of stimulus, because you're going to go to some fresh, sweet ground and do it there. But if you incentivize them to go there, they will do it. Are they going to do it because they love the world? No, because they can make money. And then we get to have a hand in what they put there and how it looks, because we're driving that train. So that's very important.
And these folks can come in and do it a lot cheaper than if the county had to go in and try to clean up these.
Absolutely, absolutely, because we would be relying on grants. Incentivize these people to go do it. And they say, well, then what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. You know what the average apartment rent in Anderson County is right now, $1,600. We need affordable housing units, and that's where they can go. But not exclusively affordable housing. They're looking at mixed housing values, which I think is the right thing to do, because you just don't want to have this here, and this here. You want to mix it. You want it to look like a world, and that's what these are. And the one that we're doing on Equinox has that flavor.
How about economic development so far in 2022? We're 2 months in. How are things looking so far?
Great. Absolutely wonderful. Great. With exciting projects that would attract world attention here in Anderson County. Our people are doing great. And another thing that we're seeing, and we've been seeing it for some time, and not because we're geniuses, but all of these logistical problems that they're having getting things from other countries, it's causing a lot of people who have plants in these other countries to say, you know, my biggest market is the United States. One of my biggest markets is the Southeast. I think I'm going to build my factory here. And although I may pay a good, decent living wage and real good benefits, I know I can get to market very quickly and I can sell my product. And I think you're going to see more and more of that. The reshoring talk has been going on for 20 years, but now it is really accelerating and we're seeing it.
And the political instability around the world, even if they get the shipping going, that's going to create another...
And people never get that point. That why would you put money in the United States? Because we don't nationalize your factories. That's one good thing right there. So that's really picking up, and we're already seeing that, and we're feeling the benefits of that. And also, just to give a shout out to the city of Anderson for bringing the soiree back. They're leading the charge. Ms. Gaddis is doing a wonderful job on that, and the county's certainly going to support that effort in any way we can to make it a success. So we think that's going to be good. We have a lot of wonderful festivals in each one of our towns, and having one back at the county seat, I think is going to be good.
Is there any chance the market could come downtown, the farmers market this year, or is it just still...
I want it in front of the new courthouse, but that's a battle I'm still fighting. And we have a major project out at the Civic Center, a beautification project out there on that road. And naturally, our bread and butter every day is taking care of roads, fixing potholes, doing things like that. That's the daily, that's what we do every day, that's what council puts emphasis on. But sometimes we can take these other pots of money that are generated by tourism or things we know that are going to bring more money into the county, and we can do things like that.
Signage is a big part of that. Is any looking at signage around? I mean, everything from, we talked about Civic Center, you and I did, to even just some of the old signs that are really old that are out floating.
We're looking at every bit of that because we're going to have a whole lot of company here for a good period of time. And we've got events that hopefully we're going to be able to nail down before that. And some of the new companies coming in are really interested in using the amphitheater at the Civic Center for major concerts. And we have some people who are going to be moving some things from other places here. And so it's just a good time to be in Anderson. I think things are going in the right direction, and it's exciting. It's exciting to come to work every day, and you got 7 council people who are out looking at everything and checking everything and seeing what's going on and what can we do better and how can we do this. So it's a lot of fun.
Is it worth mentioning the continued growth Arthrex and TTI? I mean, they seem to.
Well, TTI's busting at the seams. You can ride out there and see it. We have a major meeting tomorrow on some highway improvements at that intersection tomorrow to make it easier, not for just the people at TTI, but the people who live in that area. We also have Arthrex is going great guns. We finally, City of Clemson, Anderson County, and Pendleton have come together to build that regional wastewater treatment plant, and that's coming together. We've got our basic agreements in place, and hopefully we're going to get that moving at a great rate of speed. That's a very exciting project. It's going to help the city of Clemson. It's going to help Anderson County. It's going to help the town of Pendleton. It's going to make the environment cleaner, purer. We're going to use the site of an existing treatment facility, so we're not going to have to go look for another area, and we're excited about that.
County Council also, a couple of weeks ago, gave a report on the countywide EMS system metrics after 6 months. Is everybody pleased with the...
This month's numbers, which we had last night, we're at 95% meeting our records, and 95% is probably better than anybody else in the country's doing right now. And we're hoping that we can maintain that. We debug every day. God bless the people who work at our dispatch office and our paramedics and the people who work for Priority One. All of them are working together, doing a great job. I think people are safer and healthier, or at least they are in a better shape. Hopefully, with our training, we're fixing to hire a quality control person for our paramedics, and that person's sole job is going to make sure that A, are you doing the most current procedures? B, make sure we know if something goes wrong, what happened, what went there. So we're really excited about that. I think this is going to be another fail-safe mechanism in our thing, and we're continuing to get a lot of people coming over here saying, well, how'd y'all do that? How's this working? And so we're happy to share that story with anybody because we think it might be one of the ways to go in the future. Vets helping vets, they've formulated their last plan for the Veterans Memorial out at the Civic Center. It's almost a $2 million project, going to use black granite. It's not only is it going to be a memorial, but it's also going to be more like a park-like setting. So, you just don't come out there and look at it and go, hey. And they're going to have opportunities for people to have a plaque, not a plaque, but a paver with, the person's name. And it will also, for people who've moved here who served in the service, they'll have a chance to have a memoriam there too. So I think that was very forward thinking on that. So we've got that going, and we're going to be supporting those people in that endeavor. So.
And County Council's planning to move meetings back to the historic courthouse in March.
March 1st.
COVID numbers looking better.
March 1st we will be here, and the Supreme Court Justice, because all the courthouses in summary courthouses has still been under strict mask ordinance. But on March the 1st, they can make their own individual decisions. We're going to follow suit, not that we're under that, but we think we can come back to the historic courthouse and have our meetings because the numbers are telling us that.